Hey, everybody. So, if you've been worried about engagement, you've been thinking, hey, when I do my live streams, either no one's showing up, no one's interacting, I'm concerned because there's just not a lot of activity taking place and people are not engaging with me in my live. Well, last time we were here, last week, we talked a little bit about some of the myths around engagement. I also met with my Stream Bosses Academy group this week, and we trained on 5 very specific practical engagement strategies. So we worked through that, and I shared with them some worksheets that they could use in terms of call to action libraries and other tools. Tonight, what I want to talk about is mindset. So we're all in this theme of engagement tonight, and that's what we're going to focus on mindset, because one of the biggest things that people tend to overlook when something's going wrong, whether it's your video content or something else, is what are you thinking? What are the beliefs, the limiting beliefs that may be holding you back from success in that space? So, we're going to talk through that. My name is Tanya Smith, and I am a coach. I am a strategist of video and all things social content over at Get Noticed with Video. And this is our Stream Like a Boss show. And I'm super excited that I get to be here with you this evening. What I want to do right now is to acknowledge the folks that are on live with me and let you know that I am here for you. If you do have any questions, if there's anything that pops up, as we're talking through the topic, don't hesitate to pop your question or your comment into the chat. As a matter of fact, what I'd love for you to do, if you're brand new and this is your first time, your first experience watching our live stream, I want you to type in hashtag newbie. And if you've been here with us for some time, as I know many of you who are in our Stream Like a Boss community and our Stream Like a Boss network are, put in hashtag OG, because I want to acknowledge you and say hello, regardless of which category you fit into. Now, I am using the system called Melon. And so I've noticed there's a couple of little things I'm still getting used to in terms of the chat. So, what I may do is I may also go ahead and pull up my Facebook group over at Stream Like a Boss to make sure that I can see your comments and engage with you there. But if you're watching on LinkedIn, if you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on Twitter, wherever you are, feel free to comment. And even if I miss you while we're live right now, I promise I will acknowledge and respond to you if you've got a question later on tonight. All right, so we want to talk about this whole idea of engagement. And as I mentioned, that has been something that has been really kind of top of mind for a number of folks that are in my space. So many of my coaching clients, as well as my academy members, they've been asking about engagement. Like, how can we make sure that we're able to get interaction from the people that are showing up for our live streams? And frankly, what if we don't have anybody? What if we're brand new to streaming and there's nobody there to interact? How do we handle those situations? So we've been talking through some different strategies and approaches. But what I want to do right now is to do a couple of things. So one, I'm going to pop up these 3 different points that I want to make sure to share with you tonight. But again, I will also stress that if you have questions, if there's something specific that's on your mind about creating more engagement in your own video communities, make sure you go ahead and pop that into the chat, because I want to see. I want to see if I can help you. Okay. All right. So the first thing I'm going to do is pull up my little handy list. And as I mentioned, since I'm using a new system, I have to get a little bit used to where things are. But here's our belief number 1. Look, let me go backwards before we talk about the specific beliefs and the mindset that you need to have. The first thing I want you to make sure you know is that everything starts right here. Before you ever put it out on paper, before you ever put it out into the social hemisphere, right? Before anybody ever sees it, it's all starting here. It's starting with your ideas. It's starting with the way that you believe that things may or may not work. It's starting with your confidence level. So a lot of this stuff starts right here. And that's why we needed to talk about mindset. So I'm going to share with you tip number one, or belief number one. And that is this: when you are setting yourself up for success as it relates to engaging with your community, the first thing you have to do is to believe that you have what it takes to speak on the topic that you're talking about. And let me explain to you why this matters. If you are someone who has put yourself out to be an expert, and this is, you probably have been hearing about this whole idea of imposter syndrome and people feeling like for some reason they are not gifted enough or good enough to be able to share the things that they're sharing. This has been kind of a common theme, more common than ever before, at least in the 14 years that I've been doing this business, coaching business. It's more common now that I'm seeing people speak to this idea that they feel as though they're not good enough to be able to speak on a topic, or that somehow they need more credentials, somehow they need more letters behind their name, somehow they just are not enough on their own to really be sitting in front of a camera and talking to other people and sharing their stories. And that is completely wrong. And if that's something that you've been feeling, I want you to put a your favorite emoji. How about this? Put the emoji for, what can we put in there? Unicorn. If you can find the unicorn emoji, pop that in. The reason why I want to know if this is something that's been on your mind, if you've ever thought that you were not good enough, if you've ever been curious and wondered, am I really prepared enough to be able to share with other people what my gifts are? Am I really, am I good enough to really be able to speak to these 20 people or these 100 people or these thousands of people on this stage? Because I don't know if I'm expert enough. And people are hesitant in some cases to even pop this label on as an expert. But here's the thing: if you have been gifted, or there's a seed in you that's telling you that you are, let's say this, if there's an experience that you've had, your experience is always going to be more unique than anyone else. The only person that can tell the story like you tell it is you. So if you've been through something and you've been able to overcome an obstacle, or you've been able to do things in such a way that you found yourself taken from point A to point D, right? And it's in a better space. And you want to serve other people, because most of the time I'm talking to people who are serving. If you're a coach, if you're a consultant, if you're a course creator, if you're serving other people and you're sharing your experiences of how you came from this one place and got to this other place, then yes, your story is good enough. But you have to know, you have to believe in here first that you are good enough and that you are ready to speak that truth. And here's why that creates engagement or disengagement. The more that you can speak from your heart, the more that you can actually tell your story, the more that you can share personal experiences, and you can do it with conviction that you mean what you say and that you know what you're talking about, the more likely people are going to interact with you. The more likely they're going to put comments into the chat. The more likely they're going to ask you questions, and they're going to follow up, and they're going to do the things, follow the instructions that you share with them when you say, hey, you should go to this link and get more information, or hey, you should follow me and like and subscribe and see my next few videos on this same topic. The more conviction you have in what you're talking about, the more likely you're going to get the engagement and the back and forth. But you have to believe in yourself first. If you don't believe in yourself, it's very difficult for other people to believe in you. And when you don't believe that you really have what it takes to speak on a topic, you will get more crickets. And I'm going to share, I'm so glad. Thank you, Marie. Marie says, love these ideas. Here's the thing about this. This is the reason why I'm talking through this. I'm going to give you a whole story, not a whole story, but I'll make it really short. But I need to share with you my own personal story of when this went wrong. Like, it went dreadfully wrong. Some of you know this story and some of you don't. Yes, energy does not lie. It comes through on camera. It does more than any other type of media. it's sad, but it's true. When you're on camera, we're going to really shine. Your authenticity or lack of it will shine through. So if you don't believe in yourself, that lack of confidence is going to show up. So let me tell you where a situation where this actually happened to me, and it was a bit ugly. It probably was uglier to me than it was for the people who were in the audience. But what happened was I was. This was probably about 5 or 6 years ago. And as a coach at the time, I wasn't doing video coaching or anything like that, but I was doing career coaching, and I was also doing branding work with my clients. And so one of my colleagues, who also had been a client, she was just astounded at the amount of time that my husband and I had been married. I don't know why, but look, we've been married 27 years as of 2021. So it'll be 28 years this year. So back then, to her, it just seemed like it was just an extensive amount of time for our age and all that other stuff, right? So she says, "Hey, Tanya, I want you to be a speaker at our relationship conference." And I was like, "Really? Why?" Because I don't have any other credentials other than the fact that my husband and I have been together for a long time. That doesn't necessarily make me gifted or talented or even interested in speaking to people about relationship coaching. And so, because she kept asking, I thought, I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'm going to do it as a favor because she's a client, she's a colleague, and she's someone who I care about. And so I committed to this relationship conference. So, a couple of things happened when I get on this call. First of all, I was late. And I'm never late for anything. For those of you who have known me for some time, you know that when I'm committed to something, I get it done. I'm early all the time. But I was late. As a matter of fact, I was late because I literally forgot, like I blocked it out of my mind. I did not want to do this thing. I didn't want to speak. So I get into this virtual room because, yeah, I was still doing virtual even back then. I get into this virtual room to deliver this presentation to like 150 people on a phone call, on a teleconference. And there was no conviction in my voice. I had message points I'd written down. There were things that I was prepared to talk about, but honestly, my heart wasn't in it. I had no conviction about the topic. And frankly, I did not believe myself to be an expert in relationship coaching. I didn't have an offer to extend to them afterwards. I was only doing it as a favor for someone. But here's the lesson that I learned. And what's interesting, because I've been attending this conference this week called Expand Your Reach. And Pat Flynn, I don't know, I'm sure many of you have heard of who Pat Flynn is. He's an amazing guy. So Pat was talking about the idea. Let me see what he said. I got to read it because I want to make sure that I get this right. He said, there was a specific line he said that I thought really was applicable. He said, "You either get the results you want or the lesson you need." So it wasn't the result I wanted. I didn't want the result that I got. And the result that I got, by the way, as I was speaking on this topic that I cared nothing about and I had no conviction about whatsoever, people were not engaged. People were not interacting. They weren't commenting. They weren't, when I was asking questions, they could hear it in my voice that I had a lack of sincerity about even being there. The fact that I showed up late was bad enough. And again, I didn't intentionally do it, but I think psychologically, I was like telling myself, you don't want to be there, right? But all of those things made, yes, actually, let me pop this comment up because it's exactly right. I was phoning it in metaphorically and literally. It's so true. I was not there in heart, in spirit, in mind, and really barely physically. And they knew it. And these people did not engage. They didn't interact. They didn't ask for my phone number or for my email or any of that because they knew I didn't care and that I didn't feel confident about the topic. And so they did not feel confident about me as an expert. So that's number one, is the belief must be there. When I finally decided to own this space where I am right now, and again, I say this all the time. I'm not like this super, YouTuber that has 100,000 or 100 million followers and views. That's not who I am. But I am very convicted about the fact that if you have a message that you want to share, if there is some level of knowledge that you feel and experience that you feel is important for others to know, if there is a service that you are meant to perform through your voice and through your visuals, I believe that there's opportunity for you on camera. And I am so convicted about that, that when I speak about this on my videos, it engages people. It gets them, they feel, right? You feel right now that what I'm saying to you, it matters to me and it should matter to you because it's something of importance that can transform your life and your business. And there's a big difference. There is something that about having that conviction about what you say that encourages and entices people to want to come back. This is why I tend to have more repeat audience members and why people do want to engage in the comments and share thoughts, right? So I want you to really be thinking about that for your own business as you're speaking, as you're doing what it takes to put yourself out on video and in your strategy, as you're using any type of on camera content. You must believe in what you're sharing. You must believe that you have what it takes to speak on the topic, because the more you believe, the more convicted you are about what you're saying and what you're sharing, the more likely you are going to be to engage other people in that conversation and to embrace and draw people into that discussion. So that's belief number one. And remember, again, it all starts with the mind. It all starts right here. So the more you believe, the more your audience is likely to believe what you're saying. That's number one. Okay, here's number two. And I love the comments, so keep them coming. And if you've got questions about anything we're talking about, make sure you put those in here too, because I'm watching for them. The second thing that you must believe, the second belief you must embrace to the fullest of your being, is that your audience matters. The people that you're speaking to matter to you. If you don't believe this, and if your first priority is how much money can I make, or how many eyeballs can I get so that I can go viral, or if you're starting to think in terms of selfish means and your audience is not top of mind, they will not engage. If you at the core of your being are not thinking about the people you're trying to serve through your video content, it's highly unlikely. I'm going to say unlikely. It's highly unlikely that people are going to want to interact with you because they'll feel like you don't really even see them as a real person or as a human being. You see them as another number to put a notch under your belt, another number to put on your count, something else to say, hey, well, I've got this number of subscribers. You're seeing them as your social proof, but not as social beings. And the point of social media in general, and especially as we're using video as a format, as a content media within the if you don't see it as truly social and a heart to heart and a humanistic connection, then it absolutely is going to be detrimental to your message. And so people are less likely to want to even interact or to show up again because they felt that you were treating them like they were another number and not like someone who was there to serve and to provide them with helpful content that's going to be relevant to their life and to their business and to what they want to do. So you've got to believe that your audience is first. The people that you are serving come first. The people that you're talking to matter to you. The more you believe that, And the more that your heart is really felt through the words that you're sharing and through what you're giving in your content, the more likely you're going to have engagement. Look, I share these things with you to share. Look, I don't always give you the type of strategies and tactics that you're hearing everybody else talk about because I'm thinking on a different level and I'm trying to bring my audience and the people that I'm in communication with to a different space, to a different mindset when it comes to creating content. I don't think we all have to be out there creating the same stuff. I don't think we're all out there creating dance moves. And look, I'm not knocking that because I'm saying that's entertainment. That's great, especially for moments when I need to get away. I love to get on TikTok and watch and lurk and see other people's videos and YouTube shorts and all of that. But I'm saying we have to be thinking, if we are business owners and entrepreneurs, we need to be thinking of practical strategies and we need to be thinking of how can I not only be a better business owner, but a better human being. So I love it. And yes, yes, yes. If you believe, they'll believe indeed. Yes, ma'am. Bridget says, yes, yes, yes. Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And Daryl Eve said that in his book, The YouTube Formula, audience comes first. Yes. I haven't even read the book, but I totally love Daryl and I agree wholeheartedly. Audience comes first. That's the first thing you think about, not how. Now, I'm not telling you not to think about how can you integrate your marketing and your video content into your marketing strategy to build wealth. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that should not be at the core of what you're doing. At the core of what we do is service. That's why I love working with service providers because that's at the heart is at the core. So that's belief number two. Belief number two. Now, let me pull up my last one and then we'll get ready to wrap it up. Okay, I'm speaking to this especially for a couple of my OGs who were on the Academy call last night. I'm not going to call you out, but you asked a question and you said, well, how can I get engagement excuse me, if no one is there to engage? Which is an excellent question. What if you don't have people showing up? What if there's nobody in the audience? What if you're brand spanking new to this? You're just starting out and you're trying to build your crowd. What if? And I would say that your belief system, again, because it all starts with mindset, the first thing you have to believe is that your audience will grow. The people that are meant to hear your message will hear your message. They'll show up in due time. And it may not be today, and it may not be tomorrow, and it may not be next week. I've had people that have reached out to me and said, I was watching your video from 2 years ago. And I'm like, really? Right? I started watching your video 2 years ago, and then I binge watched your whole entire set of videos on YouTube, right? Which is awesome because they still found value. And why did they engage and why did they feel the need to reach out and to send me a comment on that? Because even when I had no audience, and even though my audience is still fairly small in this moment in time, I'm going to love on you like it's 100, like it's 1,000, like it's 10,000 people. I'm going to share with you the same amount of respect that I would show you if we were in each other's space, if we were face to face and sitting across from each other. I'm going to deliver the content on this video. If I see zero numbers in the audience, I'm going to deliver it as though it's a jam-packed concert hall. The reason why is because of that conviction that we talked about at the very forefront, that very first point that I made about you have to believe that what you have to say is important enough and that you are fully empowered and equipped to speak on the topic that you speak on. So you need to believe that someone is possibly going to engage later on, even after the live. And because of that belief, the way that you interact and the way that you show up on your videos is still going to be just as powerful for those people that show up later on to watch. They may not be watching in this moment, but they may be watching later. And a lot of people do tend to watch replays. It's just the nature of life. It's the nature of the way that we do things now. We're not all sitting at the on the, tube at the same exact time. Now, I try to make myself consistent and to come on, even though I came on an hour early tonight, but I try to come on at a consistent time because I want to create a sense of trust and reliability that you know that I'm going to be here when I say I'm going to be here so that you can show up too. But the fact is, we're not all on the same schedule. And realistically, I have a lot of moms and dads too. I have a lot of people who have other responsibilities. And so you may not be able to watch at the specific time that I'm here live. That's okay. What I do in my video content is I give you permission to still share your comments, share your questions, share your thoughts. And then I promise you that I will respond, even if it's later. Even if you show up 2 weeks from now and write a comment in there, I'm paying attention so that I can go back in and respond and acknowledge you. Yes, replay gang in the house. And I too do a lot of replay watching because it just doesn't always fit my schedule to be there when the people who I'm trying to participate with are there on camera. So as long as you can kind of think through in your own mind what this looks like and what it should feel like, and you put yourself on camera in a way that shows conviction, in a way that shows that you are thinking about what you're saying and you're being intentional, you're going to have people engage. It just it attracts other people who want to know what you have to say. And even when it feels like you're still brand new and still building your audience, and there are many times I still feel that way, I still show up because I know that somebody, even if it's that one person, you matter to me and you matter because I know that there's something that I might say that could change your whole trajectory and put you in a whole different direction that can lead you down a path to become the person that you were meant to be. It could transform your whole entire business just by one idea that's shared. So you have to believe these three things. I'm going to go ahead and pop them up again and I'll run through them as a recap and then we'll get ready to end. And then I'm going to go watch my daughter play basketball because she's got a game tonight. So you have what it takes to speak on the topic. Know this. Be confident. And guess what? If you're speaking on a topic just because somebody told you this is the topic you need to speak on, and hey, this is the hot topic, this is the trend right now, so you need to get on the bandwagon, that should not be your reason. That's not ultimately the reason why you start speaking on that topic. Because if you don't have a passion for it, and you're just doing it out of a sense of obligation and thinking, well, this might go viral, but you have no love for that thing, it's going to show up as inauthentic, as we've already shared. So you have to believe you have what it takes to speak on the topic. You have to believe that your audience is top of mind and they need to matter to you. They are first. And then you must believe that someone might engage later on. And so the way that I deliver this message needs to be as though they are present and right here in my space because this video can live for a very long time. So these beliefs will help you. They do not limit you, but they help and they support you in doing what you need to do to get the engagement that you want. Mr. Philly Cable Dave, look, I always love when you pop in and you always give me the best encouragement. And this is when I talk about engagement, this is what I'm talking about. I just lay back and listen. This info is priceless. Where's the super chat button? I got you. Look, Philly Cable Dave, I got you too, bruh. I love it. Look, this is what it's about. It's about the one person that needs to hear what you have to share. It's not about going viral. It's not about having hundreds of thousands of people. Yes, those are lofty goals, and those could be very attainable goals if that's something that you want to work towards. But ultimately, you don't start there. You start with, what am I passionate about that I can share? Who am I serving? And how am I serving them at my best? That is what draws and creates engagement. So I hope you have enjoyed this message that we've shared tonight. I want to give everybody a quick heads up before I leave, before I head out. Oh, Bridget, thank you so much. Girl, don't get me crying. I've been so emotional lately. I don't know what is going on with me, but thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that and I accept that. And when people used to say things like that, when they say I matter, I didn't believe it. Oh, if I could tell y'all, one day I'll talk about just all the things as a child, as a youth, um, as a young woman that I went through. Oh my God. Thank you. Thank you. It matters to me that you think I matter, and this feeling is mutual. And I definitely appreciate you being here. And thank you as well, David. David and I, we've been talking about this whole introvert thing. David put into the community some notes about introverted nature. And so I'm definitely going to be working on something for us introverts really soon, because you have inspired me to do that. But here's the thing I wanted to remind you. And thank you, Todd. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Here's the one thing I want to remind you all of before I get ready to wrap, and that is, I need to pull it up. We're going to be doing our Let's Go Live challenge next week. So if you have not registered and you're interested in registering and you want to learn more, go to letsgolivechallenge.com. It's a 5-day experience. And I'm going to be on live each and every day with you in a small group. It's $37, y'all. This first of the year experience, 5 days, is a challenge. You're going to get an on-demand lesson in the morning about 6 o'clock Central Time. That gets released every morning. And then by day 4, you're going to be going live. There's some bonus opportunities to go live as well in this community, in the membership area. And I'm going to be meeting with you in the evenings, and we're going to be walking through clarity and giving you some pointers and resources as you need them. But I love doing this Let's Go Live challenge. So if you're new to live streaming, or if you've been doing some lives, but you need some tweaking to your process, feel free to join in. It is very simple. No fluff, but fun experience. So, looking forward to meeting with you in that interactive course and program on next Monday, the 17th. The last day for registration is tomorrow at midnight, tomorrow, Friday, the 14th. So, just wanted to give you that final heads up. I sent out an email earlier, but wanted to give you that heads up. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for showing up and for being present here. Thank you. Thank you. Look, I see some fellow introverts, INFJ. I'm an INTJ. That's awesome. Love it, love it, love it. All right, y'all. Take care of yourself and be safe. And for goodness sake, just make sure that you're putting yourself out there, because you will never know what type of magic you can create. I see an INTP in there too. Todd, hey. Thank you so much. Look, I love these comments. I love it, love it, love it. Look, if you've got questions on anything we've talked about tonight, or if you have any comments to share, please do not hesitate to put those comments into the chat. Even if we're not live, because I'm about to sign off, I will come back and acknowledge you. Thank you, Marie, for being here. And thank you. I love your message in your heart as well. Oh my God, we're INTJs together, Marie. That's fun. All right, y'all. Have a good one. Stay safe, and I will definitely see you next time in the stream.